What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another transfer update. Make sure before we get into today's video, keep subscribing to the channel if you haven't already and like this video. Don't forget you can donate to the video via the super thanks option below. People, happy Sunday. Hope you're all well. And this is the news that a lot of Arsenal fans have been waiting for. For me, this could be as big as any potential new signing from outside the club this summer. And that is the news that William Saliba stays at Arsenal next season. I know what you're thinking. I've heard this before. No, this is straight from the horse's mouth. 100% confirmed. William Saliba did a bit of a tell-all interview on this Sunday morning where he said he was going to speak about his future and whether it would potentially be at Marseille or at Arsenal. He's done an interview via Julian Maynard on Telefoot over there in France this morning. It's been confirmed. Fabrizio Romano has tweeted it out as well. William Saliba tells Telefoot on his future: "I belong to Arsenal. I still have 2 years left. I will be back with Arsenal. I have played 0 matches and I still want to show them that I can play for these fans and this great club." Yes. Come on. Let's go. Listen, I know what a lot of people are thinking here, right? We haven't seen him in the Prem. He's not perfect. I've said many times, there's no such thing as a perfect centre-back. The closest thing to that in modern-day football is probably Virgil van Dijk. He's going to make mistakes, right? There'll be times where strikers get the better of him. But he has massive potential, and I want to see him back at Arsenal. He's 21 years of age. We paid nearly £30 million for him. He spent 3 seasons away from the club, apart from that first 6 months when Mikel Arteta in his first full season kept him and he played the under-23s. Now, Saliba has had a fantastic season on loan this year at Marseille. He's played 52 games for Marseille this year. 36 games in the league, 7 in the Conference League, 6 in the Europa League, and 3 in the French Cup. 52 games. He's had a brilliant season. He was named Young Player of the Year in the French League this season. A massive honour for him. He was also named in the French Team of the Season. We all know that game where he was absolutely fantastic against PSG. He kept Kylian Mbappe quiet. And, you know, he's got huge potential now. Is he the finished article? No. But does he have huge potential? Absolutely. He's in the French squad, although he had a difficult game the other night for France. But like I said, he's going to learn. For me, this is as big as any potential new signing because I felt throughout the season Ben White and Gabriel are guaranteed to play if they're fit. Now you have that third player. You can play 3 at the back if you want now. You've got 3 very good centre-backs there that have different qualities. You can play Saliba potentially ahead of Ben White, next to Gabriel. That's the combination that a lot of Arsenal fans have said they want to say, or see rather. Listen, I think he's got massive potential, and I would like to see him come into this Arsenal team and start possibly ahead of Ben White. But we don't know if he's better than Ben White yet. But what I will say, this is a big boost for Arsenal Football Club. I'm going to be honest, Arsenal sometimes make you a little bit pessimistic. I expected William Saliba to possibly be sold. I've never really had the impression that him and Arteta have any real connection. Clearly, they must have spoken behind closed doors. The deal's been tied up. One thing I would say, Arsenal, you have to get him to sign a new contract. What you don't want is William Saliba coming back to Arsenal, having a fantastic season for everybody to see. Then all of a sudden he only has a year left on his contract and we're scrambling. Saliba coming back to Arsenal this summer has to extend that contract. New 4-year, 5-year contract. He's in the French squad. He's 21 years of age. Massive future ahead of him. As I've said, he's not perfect. He will make mistakes. But I'm so glad that he's coming back to Arsenal. For me, what I would actually like is to see Arsenal sign another centre-back because I think in Gabriel, Ben White and Saliba, one thing that you could say is they're not the most experienced. I would potentially like to see Rob Holding moved on and maybe an experienced centre-back coming in. Whether that happens, probably quite unlikely. But the breaking news of today, people, here on Shore Sports News, is William Saliba stays at Arsenal next season. 100% confirmed, straight from the horse's mouth. He has confirmed it in an interview. He says, I will be back with Arsenal. Fantastic news. Let me know in the comments. How do you feel about Saliba coming back? Do you think he could go straight into the team? If he went back into the team straight away, how would you fit him in? Do you think he plays in a back three? Do you play him next to Gabriel? Do you play him next to Ben White? Or do you think he's maybe not quite ready to go into the Arsenal first team? I know a lot of you in the comments watch a lot of French football. Are we overhyping him slightly? Let me know. For me personally, I'm delighted he's coming back. It gives us a fantastic option. He's quick. We've got Europa League games. There's plenty of opportunity for him to play. I want to see him personally go and push Ben White for that right-sided centre-back spot. I think if I was Saliba, I'd be looking at Ben White and saying, listen, bro, you're part of the squad. We're the same team, but I'm getting you out of this team. So let me know in the comments what you think. William Saliba stays at Arsenal next season. Brilliant news. Right. It was Arsenal, so there was always going to be a downside to this conversation because you know our Arsenal move, especially when it comes to the transfer market. Now, story has come out, Mark Irwin of The Sun, and I always say that when a story comes out of The Sun newspaper, first of all, I apologise because I don't like using them as a source for obvious reasons, how their newspaper have acted over the past number of years. But Mark Irwin is a pretty good source when it comes to Arsenal. And I am not surprised by this story. Let's get into it. Mark Irwin has put a story out saying, Mikel Arteta is scaling back on his plans for a major spending spree after initially targeting up to 7 new signings. Now he might have to settle for just 3 new faces as Arsenal count the cost of missing out on Champions League qualification. Not what you wanted to hear. Not what you wanted to hear. Now, I've read this full story. What the story is actually saying is that Arsenal may bring back a couple of their loan players to kind of boost the numbers up in the squad, with maybe 3 new signings potentially being brought in. Now, for me, 3 new signings is nowhere near enough. How they're dressing this up, people, and this is what worries me, they're kind of saying Austin Trusty and Matt Turner are coming in from America. There's 2. Matt Turner, they expect potentially to be second choice keeper. Leno will probably leave. He wants to be number 1 somewhere. And Matt Turner will come in and be number 2. Then you've got Austin Trusty, who's a young centre-back. I don't think will get regular game time at Arsenal at the start. You've then got Marquinos on his way to the football club as well. That deal's already been tied up. Looks like that's going to happen, the young Brazilian winger. And you've then got players coming back from loan. So obviously Saliba looks as if he'll return. You've then got potentially Reece Nelson. They're saying also Pablo Mari could return as well. Looks as if maybe Maitland-Niles, Torreira and Bellerin will be sold. So I think they're kind of looking at that as Trusty, Turner, Nelson, Saliba, Pablo Mari. That's 5 players back into the squad that we didn't finish the season with. Now, I agree with what a lot of you are probably thinking. These 5 don't particularly strengthen the squad outside of maybe William Saliba. Marquinos, we don't really know how good he is. Matt Turner, of course, we don't know, or Austin Trusty. So they're saying 3 new faces on top of that, which I think would probably be maybe a Tillemans, maybe a Jesus, and maybe one other position. We've been linked with a lot of left-backs. That, for me, isn't enough. I think we need more than that. But I'm not surprised by this story coming out. And I said at the end of the season, when a lot of people said you're being overreactive, you're being a little bit negative, Arsenal didn't plan for the Champions League, I knew they would use this narrative at some stage this summer. We will not sign all of the players that I think a lot of the fan base feel we need this summer. And they will use Champions League as the excuse for that. We didn't get Champions League, so we don't have the same amount of money. Yeah, Vinay came out in an interview and said Champions League was never expected. It wasn't even the target. So surely you planned financially. Where I will say I think this story could be a little bit flawed is the fact that Arsenal spent £150 million last summer with no European football on the back of a pandemic. Now we've had a full season of fans in the stadium. I'm sure we sold a lot more merch, a lot more match day revenue. I would be very surprised if Arsenal were signing 3 players. I think that's not enough. Bear in mind next season, we're going to be in the Europa League. That's at least 6 games in the group stage. Plus, hopefully, you would expect us to go a lot further, maybe even win it. You can also use 5 substitutes in the Premier League next season, and you've got a World Cup in the middle of the season. So Arsenal have to improve this squad and have to add to their numbers in terms of quality and quantity. He goes on to speak about Gabriel Jesus. I think we're going to be speaking about this guy all summer until hopefully he becomes an Arsenal player. Arsenal are increasingly confident of sealing a deal for Manchester City striker Gabriel Jesus. Jesus is keen to get his future sorted out as quickly as possible, and Arsenal believe a bid of 40 million will be enough to secure his services. Now, while we're talking about Gabriel Jesus, the second part of this show today is obviously we're going to speak about him. There is a story coming out today that Gabriel Jesus now wants a deal of around £190,000 a week to sign for Arsenal. Initial reports were he was looking for 150,000. Now reports coming out Jesus wants, or Jesus as I've been told to pronounce, wants around £190,000 a week to sign for Arsenal. Now, I always thought this kind of thing was going to happen. Again, if you miss out on the Champions League, all of a sudden, yeah, I wanted 150 in the Champions League, but now we're in the Europa League. That makes it a bit more difficult for him to get into the Brazilian team. I need an extra 40 grand a week on top of that. People, I want to ask you, would you continue to do this deal? 150 seemed reasonable. 190, is that too much? I'm going to be totally honest. I would give him the 190. You have to bear in mind, we've just had Alexander Lacazette on 180, scoring 4 goals in a season. Jesus has every right. He's just won the Premier League. He's going to make demands of this sort to come to Arsenal. Would you still give him the £190,000 a week to join the football club? Me, I would. I don't think we're in a position to start negotiating. We're in a weak position. And there are also rumours that he could be linked with a move to Real Madrid as a potential backup to Karim Benzema, having missed out on Kylian Mbappe. I think Arsenal will be keen to get this deal done quickly rather than letting anybody else stepping in and making life difficult. Jesus has said he's going to talk about his future on Tuesday. And it looks as if he wants to get this deal tied up sooner rather than later. Let me know in the comments. Would you give Gabriel Jesus £190,000 a week? Personally, I would. I think he'd be a positive signing. I think he was always going to ask for more money based on the fact we haven't made Champions League. Let me know in the comments. Would you give it him? Would you move on to someone else? Also, let me know about the story coming out of the Sun saying that Arsenal are not going to have the same amount of money they was expecting. They're not going to be able to sign 7 new players. They think it's going to be 3 plus Trusty Turner and Marquinos and Saliba, maybe Pablo Mari, maybe Reece Nelson coming back off loan. Let me know what you think about that. And do you think it's the story? Is it just paper talk from the Sun and nothing to worry about? And before we finish off, final story of the day, people. Marquinos, the Brazilian winger who is set to sign for Arsenal. We've spoken about this story a few times. Now, a story has come out that Edu paid for a player that he could have signed on a free transfer, people. He could have signed for us on a free transfer. His contract is running out, and Edu has paid £3.5 million to get the deal done. It's led to a lot of criticism. People are saying, why has he paid for a player that is a free agent in a few months' time? Now, I'm actually going to defend Edu a little bit here. I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people criticising him on social media for this deal. You know, why would you pay £3.5 million for a guy that's a free? I just want to let you know from a footballing point of view that this is common practice in football. What Arsenal are trying to do is build relationships with clubs, probably in South America, in the Brazilian market. We've seen so many players come out of Brazil, and they often go to Spain and Italy. They don't really come to England. There was a very big problem with work permits. Because England is now out of the European Union, it's much easier for young Brazilian players and Argentinian players to come to this country now and get a work permit. What Arsenal have done, Marquinos' contract was running out in a couple of months. He would have been a free. Other clubs were interested in him. Arsenal paid £3.5 million to get the deal done early. What that also does, it puts you in the good books with Sao Paulo, his football club. If they've got a new superstar coming up, what you're hoping is that they make the phone call to Edu and say, listen, we're going to let you know before Real Madrid and these other clubs come looking. We've got the next Vinicius Jr. We've got the next Fabinho. We've got the next Neymar, whoever. You can have first dibs on him. Also, what it has stopped is other clubs wanted to sign him. Arsenal have got him early, so maybe we've got him on 20 grand a week. Other clubs might have given 40, 50. So it enables you to get the player through the door earlier. So I know Edu, and listen, you know I'm not Edu's biggest fan when it comes to sporting director and negotiating, but I actually don't think there's a big problem with this. I think he's trying to build relationships with Arsenal, with clubs in markets that we haven't had close relationships with. You've seen with the likes of Martinelli, there is hidden gems in the Brazilian market. £3.5 million is peanuts for Arsenal, let's be honest. So let me know what you think about that. Do you think it's poor negotiating? I actually don't have a problem with it. You're trying to build relationships and pick up young stars from these clubs. Marquinos looks as if he will be at Arsenal next season. If you know much about him, let me know. 19 years old, left-footed right winger. Haven't seen a lot of him apart from YouTube, and looks like he will be an Arsenal player next season. I'm out of here, people. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, make sure you let me know about everything we've spoken about today. Keep smashing them likes on the video. I want to hear your interaction back in the comments. From next week, probably starting on Monday, I will be back with the live stream. So looking forward to interacting with the community. Needed a short break with the family. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your Sunday. Throw your comments in, like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all soon, people.